don't think you're going to get everything, then you can just hang tight until the recording is sent out. Great. Okay. Oh. Let's see. All right, so the Western New York SOAR webinar, getting started. So I am the Western New York SOAR local lead. I also work for the Homeless Alliance of Western New York. So it's my job to pretty much facilitate everyone getting trained in SOAR, as well as making connections to Social Security and some key partners such as different hospitals in the area and different medical providers that can help us with the much needed documentation for client disability. So SOAR is, it's an application model for SSI and SSDI benefits. It's supported by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA. It is an unfunded program, unfortunately, right now. We're trying to bring some money into the area so that organizations will have money to fund a case manager to do these applications all the time. So once again, some quick webinar housekeeping instructions. Everyone is going to be muted during the course of this webinar. There will be a recording available once we're done. We do have some resources on the Homeless Alliance website that I'll share with you guys since I'm sharing my screen right now. And also slides for this presentation are available through the SOAR website. So just some quick learning objectives for what we're trying to accomplish in this webinar. So we want to understand the rationale behind the goals of SOAR and the online course, understand how to enroll in and navigate through the SOAR online course, and learn about course tools and materials available to complete the practicum portion of the course efficiently and effectively. So this is really kind of your first step in becoming SOAR certified. Once you listen to me and listen to this webinar, I encourage everyone to go to the online course. If you just Google SOAR Works, it'll be the first hit. Also, you can get to it through the Western New York, through the HANI website. We have some great resources there, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But to be clear, the online course is free, and all you have to do is go to that SOAR website, make a profile, and enroll in the class. Complete the class, and then you'll be SOAR certified. So some agenda items, just welcome and SOAR online course facts and stats. A little bit of the SOAR online course walkthrough with tips for success, and some question and answers. So how to become SOAR certified? You complete the SOAR online course. You submit your course to the SOAR TA Center. You get a confirmation from the SOAR TA Center whether it's approved or denied. If it's denied, you just have to make some small corrections, whatever they found that wasn't up to their standards. They'll send it back to you, and all you have to do is make some quick corrections, send it back, and hopefully you'll be good from there. So once everything's good, you're now certified. And once that happens, I'll reach out to you. I'm notified of everyone who's completed SOAR certification online, and I will follow up with a short fundamentals training and introduce you to some local resources that we have available, such as some partnerships we have with different legal resources, different health centers, and also some connects to Social Security and OTDA. So that's probably one of the best things about becoming SOAR certified, is that you get to talk to representatives actually looking at these cases. So you can ask them, hey, what am I missing from my case? What do I need? Can I get some advice? and you also have myself as a resource and the SOAR TA Center. Okay, so who exactly is this webinar for? You might have just been told by a staff person or someone in your office that told you to take this webinar, but you don't exactly know why. So who is this webinar for? You may have heard about SOAR but never looked at the course. You may have enrolled, begun the practice course, you began the practice case, watched videos, uploaded documents, pretty much started your training, but never finished, submitted packets to the TA Center, but you're still having some trouble. And this is also, I mean, if you already passed the SOAR training, this also might be a good refresher in case you want to coach maybe one of your colleagues on going through the SOAR training as well. So why do we use the online course? Because it offers a standardized training at no cost to users. It expands SOAR to new geographic areas and audiences. I can tell you that Hani now operates in a 5-county area, and having a standard training that everyone can do at their own pace online is really, really great. And there's the practice application packet requirement limits involvement to those most likely to complete applications. So it is, you might have heard people say this is a pretty intensive online course, but we like to think that those who complete it are those most dedicated to actually doing these applications and utilizing this model in their day-to-day practices. And another reason would be that it allows state and local leads and trainers to coordinate follow-up trainings, provide support to persons, assist with applications, and ensure high quality and complete applications, and also track and monitor the outcomes. So in terms of having case managers trained in the SOAR process, since 2014, nearly 9,000 people have enrolled in the SOAR online course. Only about 1,600 have passed. Reviews completed, over 2,400. And the course itself consists of 7 classes. There's 14 videos and 74 articles. The SOAR website is a wealth of great resources. If you have any questions or need a strategy of how to implement this with a special population, the SOAR website covers pretty much every basis. And if you have a question or you want to do some brainstorming of how to implement SOAR, checking out the SOAR website is a great way to start. And SOAR itself is being utilized in all 50 states with over 500 organizations. All right, so the online course, as I said, it's being utilized in all 50 states. You can see this map represents where it's being utilized most heavily. You can see around like the tri-state area or like Chicago or in Florida, SOAR is being very heavily used. It's still pretty new to the Western New York area, but we are forming quite a vibrant community of partners and community members. So online course basics. So if you started the online course or you think it looks a little intimidating, this webinar will help kind of ease your apprehensions about the course. So enrolling in the online course, it's pretty much just creating a profile first. So if you go to the SOAR website, I'll show you guys that quick right now. So you can go to the SOAR website. This is what it looks like. This is their homepage. It has a lot of great resources here. Let's move this. Scroll down, some videos welcoming you, telling you what SOAR is about. I mean, it's an application targeted towards people who are homeless or at risk and have significant barriers to applying for benefits. And so there's a lot of frequently asked questions, some videos. Also, SOAR has regular webinars that they do. I encourage everyone to sign up for their newsletters that have a lot of information. They tell everyone about different updates that happen with Social Security applications, and also your profile. So to create a profile, all you really need to do is put your name in there, your organization, the role that you're playing in the community. You don't have to put like a summary. I put a little summary about myself in here, but you really don't have to do that. But it's really just put in your email, put in your a password for yourself, and then once you do that, you can enroll in the class. So here's the online course. Once you have a profile, enroll in the class. And this is actually what the class looks like right here. So the classes are listed right to the right of the screen. So we have 7 classes, starting with the need for SOAR, ending with supporting recovery. And each class consists of multiple different articles, and it also assigns you a practice client that you can work with. And one of the great things about this training process is that it's very thorough. It gives you some mock documents that you can use to help fill out the necessary information for the application. And it also goes into great detail about every single element of SOAR applications. All right. Go back to we'll get a little bit more into this as we go along. So with this slide, signing up, creating the profile, and then enrolling in the online course. So the enrollment agreement, once you enroll in the class, there is an agreement you have to abide by or show that you have an understanding. So SOAR it's a very intensive process, and they ask that you reserve this process for those who fit the description of those who need SOAR. And that would be, like I said before, those who are literally homeless or at risk of homelessness and have a diagnosed disability. So if you want to use this process for pretty much everyone that comes into your office, I would really advise you against that, because for one, it's going to take you a really long time. You'll never have enough time to utilize this model for every single one of your clients. It's really, I can't say this enough, please reserve it for clients that have the highest barriers. And another reason is because we do have a valued relationship with Social Security and the people who are directly reviewing these applications. So if they just start seeing tons of applications that say SOAR in the comments, or that are identified as SOAR clients and they're not actually SOAR clients, that kind of tarnishes our reputation with Social Security, and we don't want to do that, because we want good relationships that will yield positive results on the initial application and also have a faster turnaround, and that's what we're working towards. All right, so a little bit more about the course layout. Like I said before, there are 7 courses to complete the SOAR certification. Now, each course has all of these different articles describing in detail the different elements of SOAR and what's involved. And then at the end of each class, you will have your case study or your practice case, I should say, rather. You'll be introduced to your fake client through a series of YouTube videos and YouTube videos as well as documentation and the documentation that is provided to you will represent things like hospital information, discharge information, things that kind of paint the picture for Social Security to look at these applications. And I can show you real quick what that looks like on the actual page. So we have the first class right here. So the class home, what is SOAR? Yeah. So what is SOAR? Social Security Programs to Provide Assistance. Pretty much goes through the ins and outs of SSI and SSDI as well. So if you're not familiar with that as well, there's a very comprehensive education process to this. And at the end of the class, you see here, it says meet your client. Now I had Michael Burns here. He was my mock client. And you basically just listen to him tell his story, and it's really supposed to represent you meeting with a client or some kind of outreach happening with the client. Yeah, and then also at the end of each one of these classes, there's an opportunity to fill out documents and upload them to your practice case file. And we'll get a little bit more into that as we go along. All right. So yeah, again, with the practice case files, there's the different tasks in the class that you want to complete. Some instructions for each practice case will be provided. And then you will also have, at the bottom of each practice case, there's going to be the practice case materials that I encourage you to download onto your computer. You can keep them all organized in a file on your private desktop. Okay. And then also working with forms, it's important that you know how to download these documents from the website, and you can either click on it. It may prompt you to immediately save the file, or you can just right-click and you can hit Save Link As and then save all the files. So right off the bat, if they show you any forms such as like the SSA 1696, the SSA 16, or any kind of practice files or forms, I encourage you to download all the forms and then fill them out as you go. More on working with forms. Like I said before, you can just click it. Sometimes it prompts you to save, or you can just right-click and save the link as. Also, with a lot of the forms that you have to submit for this application, there's a couple different options you can utilize to submit these forms. If you use Adobe, you can actually fill a lot of these forms out on that program. Or if you're more comfortable writing it in yourself, you can just print them out, write the answers, and then scan it, and then submit the copy electronically. And if you need help doing that, you can feel free to reach out to me. I can guide you along the process as well. And then once you finish forms, there's going to be an option to upload different documents during the course of your classes. And once you want to upload the forms once you've completed them. So And if you want to make any update, you're going to have to remove the form and then re-update it. So it's important that you keep updating it as soon as you get it. If you make any changes, you're going to want to replace an old file in the practice case and replace it with the updated one. And then at the bottom of the class screen with the practice case, you'll see a collection of all of the documents you have submitted. And then at the end, you will be prompted, at the end of class 7, you'll be prompted to submit the completed packet. So before this happens, I encourage everyone to look at the forms you submitted, just make sure they're completed in their entirety, and then submit the completed application course. So once you upload a document to the course, that doesn't mean it's submitted and it's final. You can still make adjustments and updates, but once you submit the entire packet at the end of class 7, that's when you're going to have to wait for a response. And that'll be an approval or a denial pending adjustments to the application. All right, so a little bit about the SOAR checklist, just what actually is involved in a SOAR application. There are quite a bit of documents, but every single one kind of plays a part in the process, especially in regard to talking with Social Security and OTDA. So every single application is important. So the SSA 8000, that's the Social Security application itself. The 827, authorization to disclose information to SSA. The 1696, the appointment of representative. That's probably one of the most important forms in the SOAR process that actually allows you to talk to Social Security about your client. And you also receive decisions on your client's behalf and things like that. The 3373 function report. This is a function report. It's very, very common with SSI applications. A lot of times people submit Social Security applications and then they receive a SSA 3373 function report to show the needs of your client. The 4814 medical report, these two documents aren't necessary, but if your client has HIV, the 4814 would be a necessary document. And also some online forms, the SSA 16, that's the, let's see, the SSA 16 is the SSDI application, and the 3368, that is the Internet Disability Report. And also with these documents, you'll also be submitting a medical summary report, which is an extra document, very unique to the SOAR process that you'll learn a lot more about when taking the online course. It pretty much is a narrative of your client's experience and a narrative about linking their function to their disability and their everyday living. And then along with all of these documents, you will be submitting relevant medical records. So some commonly, frequently asked questions. I forgot my password, or I'm locked out. You can request a new password on the website, or refresh your cache, or you can contact me. I can help you through that. Or I cannot fill out, save, upload my forms. Like I said before, if you can't fill out your forms on the Adobe Reader program, or your computer doesn't have Adobe Reader, or you can't download it, you can also just print them out and fill them out by hand, scan them, and then fax them in, or fax them in. And then the third one, I submitted my packet but haven't heard anything from the TA Center. I've heard this a couple times. People have said, oh, I've done the class but I haven't heard anything from the TA Center. Or they think they've passed because they submitted it but they haven't gotten any kind of approval. I would make sure that you did submit the entire packet at the end of Class 7, and if you've done that, you will hear something back from the TA Center within 10 business days. If you're experiencing technical difficulties with the SOAR online training, you can reach out to the local lead, myself, and we'll see what the issue is, or you can just reach out directly to the SOAR TA Center for troubleshooting at any time. So benefits of the online course: successful completion of the SOAR online course comes with 16 continuing education credits. So the online course is designed to provide standardized training across the country. So if you want to get advice about the SOAR process from other agencies, you can do that pretty easily. There might be some small differences, but for the most part, there's a lot of common features. Opportunity to complete a mock SOAR application. So it really doesn't throw you to the wolves. It's really a very comprehensive training, so that once you complete the training, you should feel confident enough to utilize this model on an actual client. And it also, completing this application connects you to the local SOAR community and resources exclusive to those who are SOAR trained. And like I said before, that involves connections to Social Security and OTDA, the people actually reviewing these applications. And that's a great resource in itself. All right, so a couple online course tips for success. And before we get into this, I just want to share a small resource that the Homeless Alliance has about the SOAR process in itself. So this is the Homeless Alliance website right here. And if you go along this this ribbon right here, under the COC tab, you see SOAR. If you click that, you go to the SOAR homepage, and it pretty much just tells you what SOAR is about, and a little bit about what we discussed already. A short video about how the SOAR process differs from the conventional way of applying for Social Security benefits. Goes over the SOAR process in New York, and also it outlines some of the resources, such as creating a My Social Security profile for your client, how to establish a protective filing date, which is very important. It also sheds a light on how these applications are being reviewed, which is a great little insight. And also, if you can't download documents from the SOAR website, or if you're having trouble, you can also get them from here. I included a SOAR checklist and all the different documents involved. And also some guides about the medical summary report and how to request medical records from different agencies. So, and in regards to that, here are some, a little resource about some of the local medical record offices in the 5 counties served by the Homeless Alliance. And at the bottom are my contact, as well as our SOAR TA liaison contact information. Now, before we continue with the presentation, I just want to let everyone know that the online course, the commitment does take about 16 to 20 hours. and we say, but you complete the online course at your own pace, and we encourage everyone to complete it within a month time period. Any more than that would be too long. You might forget some information. Yeah, so it is a pretty intensive process, but it's nice because you kind of do it at your own pace. There's no time limit. You can't expire your profile or anything like that. But if you do need help logging back on to an old profile, just let me know. Okay. Okay, some small tips for completing the SOAR online course. Include information from the videos, program notes, and for treatment providers. So during the course of the online training, you will be given different videos, also progress notes, and different medical documents from fake places and fake parts of the country. But yeah, I would pay attention to these because it's going to help you fill out the paperwork needed. Also, a little side note about much of this paperwork, since many of these clients do have limited resources, a lot of what you fill out will be blank. So I wouldn't be too intimidated by any long forms or things like that. It'll just be important to know where to look and what to fill out, and the online course will walk you through that. Don't get too caught up in exact dates or whether you are playing yourself or the fictitious case manager. The important part is that the main pieces of information get into the right places on the SSA forms and also the medical summary report. So that might be confusing and might be a little hard to get used to because a lot of these forms are from like 2015, so it's really outdated, and you might be wanting to date something as 2017, which is fine. You can do that, but as long as you just know where the information goes and as long as you're consistent with what you're putting down, there shouldn't be a problem. So sometimes you won't have all the details about the applicant's history, such as dates, hours of work, rate of pay. That's okay because there is a remarks section in many of these documents, and it's also important in the remarks sections to say things like, this is a homeless claim. It's also a SOAR application because since we have a close relationship with SSA, they recognize that, and they know if it's an appropriate client, they'll make sure it gets into the right hands. Okay, so a couple other tips for success. There is a medical summary report, that's the MSR template to help organize your information. Each section should be addressed. There's a psychiatric history section, and also, yeah, make sure to address all the treatment providers, and I would say write at least one paragraph for each section of functioning. It really is a narrative, and it might seem like a long part of this process, but it allows SSA and OTDA to kind of put a face to your clients and understand their situation a little bit more. And it also allows you to tell your client's story much more than a simple checkbox on a form. And you can review sample medical summary reports and sample completed Social Security forms on the SOAR website, or you can contact me. I have a ton of these documents already downloaded, so if you ask me for, hey, Andrew, I need a sample medical summary report, or hey, do you have the template handy, can you just send that over to me? Feel free to email me, that's totally fine. So all of the different reports and resources look like this. So sample medical summary reports, different updates, and it also gives you different situations, something that might be relevant to your client. Okay. All right, so a couple other tips for success. If you are stuck or you don't know what to do, or you're confused along the process of completing the online course, feel free to reach out to the local lead or the SOAR TA Center. It's really no problem at all. And also, no question is too small. We really want to build a sense of community around people doing these applications. So the more I can help, the better. You can also contact the SOAR, the larger SOAR agency with that email below, or calling 518-439-7415, extension 5254. All right, so organizing these applications is also a very good tip for success, and that's within the online course and just in general. The more organized your application is, the more SSA will look at it in a positive light. So remember that information is being spread throughout the course, simulating how you will receive the information in a real case, which involves bit by bit. If you try to do this process with your client all in one sweep, that might be hard for you and frustrating, so I really encourage you to schedule your time with your client. Say, okay, we'll go over this form and this form in this meetings, and we'll talk about this and this to help you fill out the medical summary report. Yeah. And then use the SSA forms guide in class 1 to review what information each SSA form is asking for. So really try to understand why you're filling out these forms. Like I said before, each one has a different purpose in the whole process. All right, some more organizational information. As you gather information, try to update the medical summary report pretty regularly. You also might get some information during a one case or one video, and it'll be pertinent to a form you filled out in a previous class. So there is some sharing of information between classes. Just keep that in mind. All right, and then the SS Form 16 and the 8000 are uploaded in Class 4. Be sure to use information from all the classes, including Class 4, when completing these. And those forms are the SSI and the SSDI applications. Some of the top mistakes seen with the online course, not including all treatment providers on the 3368. That's the disability report. Remember that institutions such as jails, substance abuse records can contain some critical information that can show, say, like a client's period of sobriety, which is very important for these kinds of applications. In the medical summary report, missing a connection between the applicant's symptoms and functional impairments, that can be an error. So it's really good that you use quotes and multiple examples to show marked impairments. Like, say, if your client is paranoid, you can say, one of my case notes showed that during one of our meetings, my client was looking over his shoulder, kind of demonstrating some paranoid behaviors, things like that. Review the class articles that explain what each question on the SS form are asking. Some questions are tricky and can easily be missed if misunderstood. So yeah, so really take your time with this course. Like I said before, do it at your own pace. There's no deadline or anything like that. All right, so at this time, I will be opening this up for some questions for anyone who is still in on the webinar. So if you want to type in the chat box any questions you may have about the online course or some questions about SOAR you might have. I know this was kind of more about the online course, but if you want to ask me about some of the basics about SOAR, that's fine too. So feel free to type anything in the chat box. All right, so I'm going to let a few minutes to see if any other questions come up. But the first question I'm seeing is, are we able to assist someone who is in the appeal process? Yes, you can. You can use elements of SOAR to help people in the appeal process, although the SOAR process is focused more on the initial application. You can use a lot of elements of SOAR, such as the 1696 that makes you a representative. Also, yeah, if you are appointed as a representative, this allows you to reach out to SSA and you can actually ask them, hey, what's missing here? And then if your client is filing an appeal, it'll help you get all of that missing information to your client's appeal. And also on that point, we have a relationship with some of the different legal organizations in the area to kind of fast track people to get assistance. So if you are SOAR certified, you can access this because that means that the lawyer will have to do less legwork and supposedly you'll have more information to support your client's appeal if there's any missing information. That's a good question. All right. Oh, I think we got one. You said this has to be used. Okay, so next question. Okay, it says you said this is to be used for homeless or near homelessness. Once we get these people, they are opened and housed. How is that noted on the form? Well, if the person is already housed, but if they are in like an at-risk situation, like if they're already housed, you can say this. You can say right in the comment section, this is a person at risk of homelessness. Like say if they are facing eviction, something like that, or if they do have a very low income, are living in poverty. And have a diagnosed disability, you can use this process as well. So I would encourage you to write in like the remarks section about that. And also with the MSR, like I said, the medical summary report is a great opportunity to tell your client's story. If they are in an at-risk situation, if they are housed, or if they're close to being housed, you can explain this in the medical summary report. All right. Okay, so the next question, if we can prove barriers to completing the SSI application for someone who does not meet the homeless or at-risk status, could we assist with applying for SSI? You can use elements of SOAR for your application, for your client's application. feel free. But at the same time, if they're not homeless or at risk of homelessness, it's not a SOAR application. And I really would advise you to be very cautious if you want to use this process on someone who is not homeless or at risk, because like I said before, this is a lengthy process, and if you're doing this for every single client, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have just applications just backing up, because it does take a while to really get all the information that will help. And also, I wouldn't claim this to, if your client is housed, I wouldn't say that this is a SOAR claim, just so we can maintain that status with SSA reviewers who are looking specifically at homeless and at risk. But I mean, if you're trained in the process, feel free to use different elements. During the training, we say this a lot: make this process work for you. There's a lot of different elements to it, and once you do a couple of applications, you may get into a groove. You may figure out things that work and don't work for you and your clients. So I encourage you to just kind of like feel out the process and decide as it comes how you want to use it. But if they're not homeless or at risk, I wouldn't claim this to be a SOAR case. All right. Okay. No problem. Will this program ever be open to people who are not homeless? Not right now. I mean, a lot of these forms, like the SSA 1696 and the 827, I mean, submitting medical reports and things like that, it's not exclusive to the SOAR process. You can really use a lot of these elements in different ways with non-SOAR clients. But I would say it is a lengthy process, and once again, reserve it for the most needy. But as of right now, this process is only reserved. This lengthy process is recommended for those who are homeless. All right. So if there are no other questions, here's some contact information, some useful contact information. We have myself, Andrew Deering, the SOAR local lead, my email, our phone number here at the Homeless Alliance, and we also have Abigail Lemon. She's the SOAR TA Center liaison. She's based over in Albany. She's actually very good help, and she's very friendly. So if you guys want to hear more straight from the TA Center, feel free to reach out to her. All right. And I think we can end a little early if there are no more questions. And once again, thank you very much for attending the Western New York SOAR webinar Getting Started, and I really hope this encourages you all to get onto the online course. All right, thank you. Bye now.